Hey guys, ZombieGuts here. Since we're only hours away from the launch of Shadowlands, I wanted to quickly put out a video covering the talents and PvP talents that I would recommend if you're trying to level quickly and efficiently as we head into Shadowlands. So without any further ado, let's hop right into it. Starting us out, this is what my talent tree will most likely look like as I level through Shadowlands on this character, and starting us out in Tier 1, I think Animal Companion is the best choice here. It gives the most front-loaded damage, and it's going to allow you to kill mobs the fastest out of the other talents. There is a case to be made for Killer Instinct, however, it's very likely you won't be able to use this efficiently when you're leveling because most of the mobs will die too fast to get multiple kill commands on a target that's below 35% health. The math essentially comes down to picking either a kill command that always does 130% damage or one that situationally does 150% damage. And in my opinion, the consistent 130% is clearly the better option. Moving on down to the second tier, the choice is going to be between Scent of Blood or Chimera Shot. Scent of Blood is going to give you a lot higher burst potential on demand for high health single target mobs like rares or elites, but also has great AoE potential on large pulls, especially if you're taking it with Stomp at level 45. Chimera Shot will be the most front-loaded damage on 1 or 2 run-of-the-mill quest mobs and gives you a little shot of focus that can help you a little bit with those prolonged single-target fights as well. Ultimately, this choice is going to come down to what talent you take later at level 45 and whether or not you're geared enough to take large pulls of mobs comfortably. If you are comfortably able to do large AoE pulls, or if you're group leveling, Scent of Blood is fantastic, otherwise I'd probably take Chimera Shot here. Down in Tier 3, there's a clear-cut best choice in terms of leveling speed here, and that is Trailblazer. Moving 30% faster between zones, mobs, and quest givers is amazing on its own, but it's even better when you consider the fact that the first zone we enter in Shadowlands is the Maw, which is a zone where you cannot mount. I wouldn't consider taking anything else in this tier, just Trailblazer all the way. Down in Tier 4, we have another situation where there's a clear-cut best option among all of these in the row, and that is, for better or worse, a Murder of Crows. This is a talent that I know most hunters really hate, myself included. However, it does work great for leveling because of the fact that it resets its cooldown if the target dies while still affected by the crows. What that means is that basically it'll always be available when you're chain killing non-elite quest mobs. The other option that one might consider here is Thrill of the Hunt, but when you're leveling you likely won't have enough crit to make that 9% bonus worth it. Plus it takes a long time to ramp up, and we tend to favor front-loaded talents when we're leveling, not ones that are going to take multiple global cooldowns to come online fully. Tier 5 is a tier that has all utility, and a couple of those choices give us more movement speed options, which is great. Born to be Wild will cut the cooldown of Aspect of the Cheetah by 36 seconds, and it can be made better by a PvP talent we'll be discussing later. However, Post Haste is also a great choice for raw movement speed on a much shorter cooldown than Aspect of the Cheetah, plus the initial distance that it covers, and has the added benefit of removing movement impairing effects, which can be helpful when you're just trying to run past mobs and are being slowed by something. I think it's going to be personal choice in this tier, but I'll be taking Post Haste. Our 6th tier of talents is one that gives all AoE damage options. However, the choice is going to be between Barrage and Stomp, because Stampede has too long of a cooldown to get consistent use out of it when you're leveling. Barrage is a great option for grouping lots of mobs up on your own and does pretty decent damage to up to 8 targets at a time on a fairly short cooldown. I would definitely recommend taking it if you're solo leveling. Stomp does great consistent AoE damage and also does better single target damage than Barrage, making it a lot more versatile. Also, if you took Scent of Blood in the level 25 tier, you can use it in conjunction with Stomp for very good on-demand AoE burst damage. If you have someone else grouping mobs for you, or if you just don't mind a bit of inconvenience when you're grouping mobs up on your own, I would definitely say to take Stomp for the most consistent damage output in more situations. Otherwise, take Barrage. And then down in our final tier, we only have one clear choice, and that is Aspect of the Beast. It just provides a constant 30% damage increase for your pets, and it's the only talent in this tier that provides any benefit in AoE scenarios, which we'll ideally be seeing a lot of. Furthermore, most fights when leveling simply don't last long enough for the other two choices to get their full value. That's going to do it for our normal talent tree. Let's move on over to the PvP talents, which you'll have access to if you're leveling with War Mode on. First we have Dire Beast Hawk. This is just an AoE circle that you place on the ground like a trap or a flare, and it does damage to all targets within it for 10 seconds. It's decent supplemental damage on large pulls, and it's not target capped unlike most abilities in Shadowlands, which is really nice. The second talent I would recommend taking is Hunting Pack. This cuts the cooldown of Aspect of the Cheetah in half, and it also spreads the initial speed boost to nearby allies, giving it a bit of utility when leveling in a group. But even if you're just leveling solo, having Cheetah up more frequently is fantastic, and if you pair it with Born to be Wild, you cut the cooldown down to a mere 72 seconds. However, I don't think it's worth giving up post-haste for it, so just taking this and leaving the cooldown for Cheetah at 90 seconds is what I would recommend. Lastly, I would recommend taking Dire Beast Basilisk. This is a talent that does a ton of single target damage, making it great for rares and elites. It's really important to remember, however, that this thing moves incredibly slow, so you want to make sure the mob you're using it on isn't moving, and it won't be for a while before you cast it. As an honorable mention, I do want to showcase Wild Protector just a little bit. It makes all allies near your pet take 10% less damage. This applies to you as well if you're close by, but ideally you won't be tanking anything due to misdirecting to your pet if you're playing solo. This could be welcome in a group leveling scenario though, where your pet won't be tanking anything. And that is going to do it for my recommended leveling talents for BM Hunter as we head into Shadowlands. Hope you guys found the video helpful and it makes your leveling experience as a BM Hunter just a little bit smoother. If it does, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I do plan on releasing a lot more educational BM Hunter content as we get deeper into Shadowlands, and especially as we get into raids and Mythic Plus. If you're really interested in learning more about BM Hunter, I'm also going to be streaming over on Twitch at twitch.tv/zombieguts13. I'll be streaming my leveling, my Mythic Plus runs, and my raids throughout the expansion. So if you're interested in that, you can drop by. I'll leave a link in the description. You can ask any questions you want to in chat, and I'll be sure to try to answer them to the best of my ability. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.